Today we will take on challenge number 3, where we have to find the discount based on the select product. So we can change the product and we can change the quantity, and based on those two values we have to find the discount. And this challenge was after the webinar about index and match function, but the solution with those functions are the most complicated of all solutions I know for this challenge. So we will be talking about simpler solution. And the first solution I want to show you is by using the VLOOKUP function. And let's start with just one range. So how to find the discount for VLOOKUP with VLOOKUP when we have quantity. So we are looking for quantity where in the first range, so for Teddy. And we have to remember that VLOOKUP function only look up in the first column of the select range. And we see we don't have exact matches. In most cases we don't have exact matches, so we will be looking with approximate match. But first of all we have to find the discount. So in VLOOKUP it's the third argument of the function, because discount is always the second column. So in the third argument of VLOOKUP function we are putting 2, and we should write also the fourth argument of VLOOKUP function, and we need here approximate match. So with a threshold, because we have threshold, the approximate match will be the one we need here. So we should write here 2, or I prefer 1, so my function is shorter. And just with this I have found the discount for Teddy, but I choose product doll, so I should look into another range. So how can we dynamically change this range in VLOOKUP function? Let's write the proper formula outside VLOOKUP function, and then we'll copy paste in the place of the first range. So how can we choose between 4 ranges? In almost the same way how we can choose between 4 values. So we can use choose function, and in the first argument we are writing the number or proper function that result the number, and then we are writing values or ranges, and it's important choose function can return ranges. So for now the first argument will be 2, and the first value 1, so value 1 will be this range, then value 2 will be this range, the value 3 it will be, so once again something went wrong, I want to select this range, okay, and the fourth argument is this one, okay, and I'm returning the second range, so for airplane. And when I change the first argument for 3, I will have the different range. So now we just have to make this change, this first argument, dynamic. And the simplest solution in this example will be using the match function, and we are looking for the product name in the list of all products, and here we need exact match, so 0. And now index number argument is the result of match function, and when I change doll for airplane, for example, I have the different results. So now I can just copy paste this formula. So Control C without equal sign, and here in VLOOKUP function, in the place of the single range, I'm pasting Control V this whole formula, and this formula I don't need it anymore. So now I can choose between those values, and I can change also the quantity, and I have the proper result. So maybe a ship, and here for 20 quantity in the ship we have, yes, 1.4%. So this solution works correct. Now I will show the second solution that is even simpler than the first I shown, but we have to name ranges. And now this range is called Teddy, this one is called Airplane, and this is called Doll, and this range isn't called. And the simplest way to name the range is by pressing the name box and writing the name. So in this example it's ship, and enter. And now I call this range, and when I press Ctrl F3 I can see all named ranges. And when I name the ranges exactly the same way that are the elements on my list, I can in a simple way to refer to them using indirect function. Just refer the list with products, so B2 cell in our example. And now this indirect function return for us those values, and we can see we have the proper ranges. So now I can just add VLOOKUP function here. So I'm looking for the discount in which range? In the range that indirect function return for us. Then the column index, so that we are always discount in, and the discount is always in the second column, so 2, and 1 for the last argument, to be precise and to remember about this argument from the VLOOKUP function. And that's all. So we have to name our ranges, but when we named our ranges, the formula is quite easy. In the last solution I will show, I'll be using named ranges and index function, and we will start that from the point where index function can return whole column, and we want whole column to find the position for quantity and then for the discount. So as an array we are getting the result from indirect function. So the indirect function just looking at the product, and based on that return proper range. But it's important, we don't need for index function whole range, just the proper column. And let's start with the first column. So to return column, it means I need all rows. So in the second argument of index function I should write 0. Then in the column number I should write the column I need. So first of all I need the first column, so the column with quantity. And now based on the product and indirect function named ranges, I will get the ranges for the quantity. But I don't need really the ranges for quantity. We want the proper position based on the quantity we have. So we just have to add for index function the match function. So match function, we are looking for the quantity where in the result from the index and indirect function, and it's important that we need 1 here in the third argument of match function. We need the values less than, so 1 here. And based on that, we have position of the value. So for the ship, it's 12, so will be more than 10, but less than 20. So it's second row. And now we have the row number for the discount column. So what we have to do? We have to add here index function that's look up for the second column. So almost the same as the first lookup array for match function, but with second column. And this is our range for our index function. So this whole part is a range from which we will be choosing discount. So we have to add one more index function, and let's make it like this. So this is the first argument, this is the second argument of this, the first, let's say the first index, the most important index function. And now the it's not this array, it's this array. So our first argument for this main index function is array from index and indirect function, and those functions return the second column from the named ranges. Then we want to find the row number for our index function, because we have just one column. We don't need the third argument for the main index function, but we have to find the quantity. So in the first step, we just return the first column from the named ranges, and then with match function, so it's on this whole part, we return the row number. And now I can just put my formula into the cell, and I have 5 solutions for this problem. When I'm changing the product name, the discount is changing. When I'm changing the quantity, the discount also is changing, depends on the quantity and product. And we have all solutions that are working depending on the way we can operate. We can use different approach. When we can use name ranges and VLOOKUP function, that will be the simplest formula for this challenge.